My boyfriend hit his head on the way to buy me a cake and lost his memory. He forgot about me and fell in love with a junior who had always admired him the day he stole my design to give to her. I ran into him at a bar. When I came up in conversation, he laughed smugly. Who would have thought pretending to have amnesia would work so well? Aurelio is way too proud, wants to control everything. This is exactly how she needs to be dealt with. You see, I gave Daniela her design work this time, and she didn't even dare say a word. The others around him laughed and joked. You really know how to handle women, Santi, but aren't you afraid she'll dump you if she ever finds out you're faking? Santiago laughed it off. She'll never find out Benjamin's covering for me, it's totally safe. Benjamin was his roommate, the most powerful and wealthy heir in our circle. I pretended I hadn't heard anything and quietly walked away in the car ride home. A man pulled me into his arms from the side. Does he still not remember anything? He asked. No, I sat on his lap, my tone low. I think he really forgot about me, and he already has a new girlfriend, Benjamin maybe. Maybe I should move on to chapter 3 months after Santiago lost his memory. I went to see him again. I had just found some old photos of us volunteering at a rural elementary school. I thought maybe they could help trigger his memory, even though he did remember me and even told me to stop doing such stupid things. Even though just yesterday he took my design and gave it to his new girlfriend, which broke my heart, I still didn't want to give up Santiago used to treat me so well. Besides, he only lost his memory because he was buying a cake for me. How could I just walk away? What if one day he finally remembered everything? How painful would that be? But I never expected to hear what I did that night at the bar. His best friends were gathered around him laughing and saying, Santiago, you really played this well, faking amnesia. Now Aurelia doesn't have any reason to cling to you anymore. Santiago laughed carelessly. She was too controlling. She'd get jealous even when I was just chatting with a younger girl. That's why I came up with the amnesia trick. Look around. Who in our circle doesn't have multiple girlfriends? She's the only one who insists on one true love forever. A woman like that needs to be put in her place. You see, now I'm openly with Daniela, and she doesn't dare say a word. Someone else chimed in, laughing honestly, pretending to get amnesia after hitting your head on the way to buy her cake. Genius move. Even yesterday when you took her design for your little coquette, she was so upset she was about to cry, but in the end she held it in. Aurelia, that proud girl, and you've completely tamed her. Santiago, you're seriously impressive, but don't you worry, she'll leave you when she finds out the truth, Santiago replied, totally unfazed. She's not gone now. Find out I've got Benjamin covering for me, it's solid. The room burst into more laughter. A Benjamin, if he's backing you up, you're definitely not getting caught. Yeah, no one's more reliable than Benjamin, you're safe to do whatever with Daniela now. Santiago smiled sweetly. Yep, I already booked tickets to Scandinavia. As soon as I graduate in a few days, I'm taking Daniela to see the Northern Lights. A tear slipped quietly down the corner of my eye. Scandinavia was the place I most wanted to visit with Santiago. I used to believe if we saw the aurora together at the edge of the world, we'd never be apart again. Turns out he's still going, just not with me. He's taking Daniela instead inside the private room. The laughter and teasing continued. Everyone was joking about how Santiago must truly into the campus queen this time. I clenched my fists, waiting for Santiago to deny it, but he just kept smiling at his phone with that smug look on his face. Eventually someone asked, so Santiago, how long are you gone? Nah, keep faking this amnesia thing with Aurelia? You can't keep it up forever. Santiago casually took a sip of his drink, answering with certainty. Let her wait. I finally have my freedom back. I'm gone now. Enjoy it while I can. Aurelio loves me so much no matter how I play her, she'll never leave me. Chapter 2. I quietly walked away, then tossed the photo album into the trash can nearby. No wonder every time I showed up in front of Santiago, holding on to our past memories, he would look at me with temp and call me stupid. Now I see it clearly, I really was ridiculously stupid. I wiped away the tears at the corner of my eyes, turned the corner into a nail salon and got myself a fresh, pretty manicure. Then I went to my favorite restaurant, had a full meal of all my favorite dishes. By the time I left the restaurant, it was almost 10 at night. I stood on the roadside, just about to call my cab. My phone started ringing wildly in my bag. When I picked it up, Benjamin's avatar flashed on the screen. Santiago's closest roommate, I answered, and Benjamin's anxious, frantic voice came through. Aurelia, where are you? Your roommate said you didn't go back to the dorm, and the others said you weren't at the bar either. I lowered my eyes, hiding the sarcasm within them. Of course, Benjamin was the one who told me Santiago would be at the bar tonight. But when I didn't show up, they were bound to get suspicious. I said lightly, I got hungry on the way, so I stopped for dinner first. Then after a pause, I asked cautiously, is Santiago still at the bar? There was a beat of silence on the other. Then he replied he's already gone home. Aurelia, it's really late, you won't make it back to the dorm, just head home early. I let out a soundless laugh. Okay, he immediately asked where I was so he could come pick me up. I gave him the name of the restaurant. Soon Benjamin's Bugatti pulled up. The next second, his strikingly handsome face appeared in front of me. Get in, his voice was low and cool. I blinked, confused by how he had instantly returned to being the cold and aloof version of Santiago's roommate, like the worried, frantic guy on the phone a few minutes ago, had been someone else entirely. I got in the car quietly. The vehicle slipped into traffic like a fish in water. Benjamin was never much of a talker, and I wasn't in the mood for conversation either. In the silence, the only sounds were our breathing. Bored, I looked around the interior of his car and noticed something pink tucked below the center console, looking closer, like a dress. And not just any dress, it looked like mine even had a faint stain from spilled alcohol that I vaguely remembered. That time Santiago took me to his roommate's dinner gathering, Benjamin was there too. Later, when we went out for karaoke, Daniela, who was just the junior at the time, accidentally spilled her drink on me. Santiago had felt bad about it. He asked me for the dress, said he'd have it cleaned and return it to me, but he never gave it back. I'd forgotten all about it, didn't expect to see it again here in Benjamin's car. Blushing, I was just about to say something when his calm voice came from beside me. Aurelio, we're here. I snapped back to reality and was about to get out of the car when a pair of strong arms wrapped around me from the side, trapping me in his embrace. Aurelia, why didn't you reply to my messages today? I froze, forgot to check my phone. He held me even tighter. He still hasn't remembered anything. His voice was muffled. I let out a dry laugh. No, seems like he's completely erased me. That's really messed up. It's all my fault if I hadn't let him go out to get that cake for you that day. He wouldn't have gotten hurt. There was regret in his voice above my head, but his lips brushing along my neck weren't behaving themselves. The small space between us felt increasingly hot and heavy because of Benjamin. I couldn't help but grab him by the hair. He lifted his eyes, those damp lashes fluttering, looking at me with aggrieved innocence. Aurelia, can I be the one you've tried so hard and Santiago still hasn't remembered you? He might never remember he's even got a new girlfriend now. Why would you still want a guy like that? He's dirty, look at me, I'm clean. I'm hotter than he is. You pick me, will you? Benjamin in this moment was like a devil who had just stepped out of the forest. I couldn't help but think with a twisted sense of humor. Santiago asked Benjamin to cover for him. But did he ever realize his bro and closest roommate actually had feelings for me? Chapter 3. Benjamin was without question the crown prince of Santiago's social circle. His family background was miles ahead of Santiago's outwardly. He was always polite and composed, but everyone knew he was not someone to mess with. I used to think the same, so I rarely ever spoke to him. When did I first sense something was off? Maybe it was the way he was there in every moment I spent with Santiago. Whenever Santiago and I went out to have fun, Benjamin would tag along. When we went shopping, he'd suddenly need a new pair of sneakers too. He always followed at a careful distance, not too close, not too far, but whenever I turned around I'd find his eyes fixed on me, unwavering. But the real shift came in the last few months. Santiago hit his head playing basketball with Benjamin and lost his memory. He not only forgot me, his attitude toward me turned downright cruel. How cruel he'd scoff the moment he saw me loudly, insisting there was no way he'd ever fall for a plain girl like me. If he liked anyone, it'd be someone like Daniela, sweet, pretty, the perfect campus goddess. If before the amnesia he really had loved someone as low tier as me, then he'd rather never recover his memory again. I still remember when he said that he was surrounded by his friends and Daniela. They all looked at me with that mocking gaze, like I really was the pathetic girl he described. Daniela pushed me and linked her arm with Santiago's, softly comforting him. That's right, she lied to you. I'm your real girlfriend, I always have been. I knew Daniela had always liked him. Now she finally got what she wanted. I thought Santiago's accident had really happened because he was trying to get me that cake. I felt guilty, heartbroken, felt so ill, I couldn't get out of bed. That's when Benjamin showed up. He said he was partly to blame, but if he'd stopped Santiago from leaving that night, maybe the accident wouldn't have happened. He felt remorseful, said he'd help me try to restore Santiago's memory, even offered to take care of me himself. And he truly did back then, I had constant fevers and nightmares to take care of me. He moved into the apartment he had rented off campus for his design work. He cooked every meal for me, brought them to my bedside. He knew all my favorite things, bought me my favorite snacks, even did my laundry. When I found out he was washing my underwear, 3 days had already passed. Blushing, I told him awkwardly, "You don't have to do all this. I'm feeling much better now. And Santiago's amnesia isn't your fault. If I hadn't said I wanted cake that night, none of this would have happened. You should go focus on your work, don't worry about me anymore." Benjamin didn't say a word, he just stared at me with those intense, unreadable eyes. Finally he spoke. "Aurelia, have you ever considered the possibility that the reason Santiago is acting this way is because maybe he didn't love you that much to begin with? That's why after forgetting you, he fell for someone else so quickly. But I'm different and you've known it for a long time. I've always liked you." I didn't respond to Benjamin's confession. Even though I knew how he felt, I still couldn't respond. Santiago had amnesia, not death. I still believed that if I kept trying, the day would come when he'd remember everything. He loved me so deeply, there's no way he'd truly be willing to forget me forever. Chapter 4 snapped out of my thoughts. I could feel the heat radiating from the chest against mine. I lifted my head and kissed him, just as I imagined he tasted good, cool and clean like pine resin. Benjamin Santiago really seems to have forgotten me, and he already has a new girlfriend. Maybe it's time I started something new too. Chapter 5 That night, I almost didn't make it out of the car. When we got home, Benjamin immediately rushed into the bathroom to shower. I took the chance to grab his phone and opened his WeChat messages with Santiago. "Santiago, Benja, did Aurelia come looking for me today?" "Benjamin?" "Yeah, she did. She was holding some photo albums she found somewhere, saying she wanted to help you recover your memory." "Santiago, Yuji, she's at again. This is exactly why I pretended to have amnesia. I can't stand how clingy she is, and now even that hasn't stopped her. By the way, when I stole her design and gave it to Daniela, did she cry?" "Benjamin, she did. She was heartbroken all night, but she still didn't blame you, said you just forgot her, even said it wasn't your fault for taking her design because you lost your memory while buying her a cake. She said it was her punishment to bear." "Hey, are you planning to keep messing with her like this? If you really don't like her anymore, why not just be honest and end it?" "Santiago, Benja, I know it's messed up, but you have no idea how hot Daniela is when she dresses up like a catgirl bed. She looks all innocent on the outside, but in private, she's unbelievably sexy, way better than Aurelia, who wouldn't even let me touch her properly. Bro, just keep covering for me a little longer. Once I've had my fun, I'll go back. I promise she'll still be the one I love the most in the end." Benjamin didn't reply for a long time, then finally sent. "Okay," I scoffed coldly, just about to close the app when a new message popped up in their roommate group chat. One of them had posted a video captioned "Santiago and the campus queen are such a perfect match." I tapped the video open. In it, Daniela was pressed into Santiago's arms, kissing him passionately as part of a drinking game punishment. 2 minutes of deep kissing, their tongues tangled, completely lost in each other. I stared at the screen, my grip tightening. Then I turned off the phone. The next second, Benjamin came out of the bathroom. He wasn't wearing a shirt, and his peach-to-chest and barely visible V-line were right in front of my eyes. He was at least 100 times hotter than Santiago. I swallowed hard, then said softly, "Benjamin, I've been having nightmares again. Will you sleep with me tonight?" Chapter 6 After that night, Benjamin and I officially got together. All I had to do was give him a look, and he'd hand me the world. He helped me recover the deleted draft of my design project from my computer, the one Santiago had erased I'd originally planned to use, that designed to apply for a graduate research scholarship, but Santiago gave it to Daniela, the brainless beauty with big boobs, to use for a competition. At first, I didn't plan to fight for it. Santiago lost his memory because of me, and Daniela was his new girlfriend, so I treated that design as my way of making it up to him. But now what's mine is mine. 3 days later, I returned to campus. I handed over all the evidence I'd collected to the professor in charge of the design competition. After reviewing my original draft, he told me not to worry. He'd make sure I got justice. Just as I finished submitting the documents and left the admin building, I ran into Santiago and his crew. He was holding Daniela close, laughing with his group like nothing had happened. The moment they saw me, the whole group fell silent, especially Santiago. The second his eyes met mine, his whole body tensed with hostility, like I was something filthy. Daniela, as if claiming him as hers, snuggled deeper into his arms and gave me a gentle, innocent smile. She said sweetly. Are you here for Santi again? But it seems he doesn't really want to see you. I glanced at the two of them, at Daniela's, smug look in Santiago's defensiveness, like he was terrified I'd latch onto him again. Calmly, I said, excuse me, I have class. It was the final class for our design program. After that we'd graduate. I walked straight past Santiago and Daniela, ignoring their display. I didn't notice Santiago staring after my back, a look of disbelief clouding his face. That night, Benjamin went to shower again. I picked up the phone he'd left outside. I'd been checking their messages often these days. Santiago, Benja, what's going on? Aurelia saw me today and didn't even try to come talk to me. Did she find out something, Benjamin? No way, I've been with her every day. She doesn't know. She's just tired. You know, she's been stressed about you and now about graduation too. And with that design plagiarism mess, she even lost her scholarship offer. Santiago, no, something's still off. Aurelio's never looked at me with eyes that cold before. It's giving me the creeps. Benja, do you think it's time I ended the game and told her the truth? Santiago, but can I really let go of Daniela? She's been training so hard just to go skiing with me in Scandinavia. Heard she bruised her arms from falling so much. Benjamin went quiet for a long time, then replied, yeah, if we don't go, she'll definitely be crushed. Let's wait until we're back from Scandinavia. Benja, I'm counting on you to keep an eye on Aurelio for me while I'm gone. Chapter 7 time flew by and suddenly it was May. Graduation was right around the corner. Santiago, Benjamin and I had all joined the same photography club. They decided to throw a graduate party at a hot spring hotel in the countryside. Most of the group rented a big bus, while Benjamin and I had planned to drive there together. But halfway there Benjamin's car broke down. We had no choice but to hitch a ride with Santiago, who wasn't far ahead of us from the front passenger seat. Daniela peeked out and grinned. Santi says the front seat is reserved for his girlfriend. So I'm not giving it up. I glanced at the seat decked out with pink pillows and a girlfriend-only sticker and smiled. No need. Then I slid into the back seat with Benjamin beside me. Santiago looked surprised and was just about to say something when Daniela stuffed a half-eaten piece of bread into his mouth. It tastes weird, Santi. Help me finish it, okay? Santiago nibbled her fingers bite by bite. Daniela giggled with delight. The two of them made me sick to my stomach. I closed my eyes, pretending to nap. Suddenly Benjamin's long, solid leg brushed against my knee. Bare under my skirt, he pressed against me deliberately. I opened my eyes and glanced at him. He gave me an innocent smile. I pulled the scarf from around my neck and draped it over my lap, covering his movements, but that only made him bolder. I looked ahead. Santiago and Daniela were now sharing a bottle of soda, their lips brushing as if they were one person. I leaned slightly toward Benjamin, and in that moment I think I finally understood Santiago, a little. Life is so long. What's the point of staying loyal to just one man? When we arrived at the hot spring hotel, Santiago was even more shameless, publicly flapping his relationship with Daniela right in front of me. I ate, drank, kept my distance, didn't interfere with their little love parade, let them show off however they liked, but oddly enough, Santiago didn't seem pleased. After dinner, he pulled Benjamin aside. Benja, what's up with Aurelia? She didn't even blink when she saw me and Daniela being all couple. Why do you think she doesn't love me anymore? Was I too harsh? Maybe I should just drop the act and get my memory back tonight. Benjamin chuckled that fast. You ready to toss Daniela aside? I heard she bought some sexy bikini lingerie just for tonight. You really sure about this? Santiago hesitated, then looked toward Daniela and nodded with determination. Okay, after this trip I'll deal with it. That night the room assignments came out. Aside from couples like Santiago and Daniela sharing rooms, the rest of us were given solo rooms, but as soon as everyone dispersed, Benjamin pulled me straight into his Santiago. No matter how much he tried to convince himself otherwise, couldn't shake the discomfort in his chest. Even with Daniela doing a seductive catgirl dance for him in that sexy bikini, he couldn't feel at ease. Something about Daniela's attitude that day. It made him uneasy, like he didn't matter, like no matter what he did in front of her, it didn't affect her one bit, as if at any moment she might disappear from his life for good. So he walked to Benjamin's room, determined to have a serious talk. At that moment, Benjamin and I had just moved from the wall to the sofa. Santiago knocked. Benja, are you asleep? Benjamin was gripping my waist, too afraid to answer, but he stood frozen at the door. Benja, I know you're in there. Come on, open the door, I need to talk to you. Benjamin stayed silent. Bang, bang, bang. Santiago knocked louder, clearly not planning to leave until the door opened. Worried he'd disturbed the other guests, Benjamin finally spoke up. Santiago, what is it? The knocking paused. Dude, what the hell, Benja, is there a girl in your room? Shit, sorry man, didn't mean to interrupt. I just came to ask about Aurelia. I was worried the moment he said my name. Benjamin tensed. I suddenly spoke up. Get rid of him? My voice wasn't loud, but somehow the person outside heard it. There was a long silence, then the door was pounded like thunder. Santiago's voice cracked with tension. Benjamin. Who the hell is in there with you? Open the damn door. Open it now, are you kidding me? I trusted you like a brother and you're sleeping with my girl. She didn't even sleep with me, what the hell? Chapter 8. The realization hit him, and all the passion drained from Benjamin's face in an instant. He pushed himself up and pulled me into his arms, his voice urgent. Aurelia, it's not what it looks like. I looked at him calmly. Not what that you didn't hook up with your best friend's girl, or that you weren't in on the lie with Santiago. Benjamin, always so composed, looked like he was breaking apart. You knew all along. I let out a quiet laugh. Yeah, I knew everything. Benjamin looked at me, expression tangled with guilt and pain. You knew, and you still do. You blame me? My eyes fell to his sun-kissed chest, and my fingers traced the lines without thinking. Blame you for what? Yeah, blame him for what? If it weren't for him, how would I have realized besides that rotten excuse of a man, Santiago, there was someone like him? Benjamin's eyes turned red as he looked at me. I'm sorry, Aurelia. I didn't mean to lie to you with him. I just wanted an excuse to get closer to you when he told me about his plan. You have no idea how happy I was. I thought I'd never get the chance. I thought I'd have to spend my whole life just watching you from a distance. But he didn't treasure you, he chose to hurt you. I silenced him with a kiss, cool pine lingering on my tongue. My favorite scent, I am murmured between breaths, don't apologize. I'm just glad that it was you. Chapter 9. Santiago snapped. He started kicking at the door like a maniac, like he was ready to take someone down with him. Before security could arrive, Benjamin and I opened the door together. The entire photography club was gathered outside, with Daniela standing among them. When they saw us, everyone's expressions twisted with shock. Santiago's eyes burned red with fury, and tears fell the moment he saw me. Someone finally broke the silence. Damn, Benjamin. That's seriously messed up, sleeping with your bros, girl. Benjamin gripped my hand tighter and smirked coldly. Aurelio is not his girlfriend anymore, from what I've heard. Santiago's got himself a new one, doesn't he? One of the guys tried to defend Santiago, mumbling, well, yeah, but he lost his memory, you know that, Benjamin replied with a mocking smile. Exactly, if it's all forgotten, then isn't starting over the best choice? Besides, hasn't Santiago already moved on? Daniela bit her lip in embarrassment, shooting me a glare filled with hatred. She tugged on Santiago's arm, but Santiago didn't even seem to notice her, he just stared at me. Yeah, Aurelia, I lost my memory, that's why I forgot you, but I think I remember. Now I'm sorry for forgetting you for so long. I loved you so much, can you forgive me? Come back to me. I leaned deeper into Benjamin's embrace, feigning regret, but I have Benja now. What should I do? You know, when you lost your memory I was devastated, but Benja was always there for me. Without him I wouldn't have made it. I'm glad your memory is back, but I think I've already fallen for him. Santiago flinched like he'd been stung, his whole face twisted with pain. After a long pause, he forced a smile, lowering his voice. It's okay, Aurelia, we both strayed for a while. You had Benjamin, I had Daniela. Isn't that fair? Let's go back to how it was, please. I looked into Santiago's hopeful eyes and shook my head no. He froze, why not? I laughed, I don't want a dirty man. Santiago trembled all over from the pain. But you're with Benjamin too? I laughed even harder, but you were the one who faked amnesia first. Santiago, you made up a whole story about getting into an accident while buying me a cake. You played on my guilt just to steal my design and suck up to your new girl, a low, manipulative, filthy man like you. What makes you think I'd ever take you back? Chapter 10. Santiago's social death was complete that day. Many people present hadn't known Santiago had only pretended to lose his memory, let alone that the excuse he used so disgustingly low. Someone recorded our confrontation and posted the video online. Soon more people learned just how shameless Santiago really was. Rumors about his academic fraud and Daniela stealing my design work started spreading. That's when I learned the man I had loved for 4 years was even more despicable than I'd imagined. Daniela and Santiago became infamous on campus as the scandal couple they had credits deducted, received official warnings. Santiago, he could forget about graduating this year. As for me, I finally cleared my name. My revoked graduate research recommendation was reinstated. After this outrageous drama, everything in my life began to fall back into place. Well, it would have if Santiago would just stop showing up to harass me every day. Just like when we first fell in love, he stood outside my dorm, rain or shine, bringing me breakfast, my favorite kind. What he didn't know was that I hadn't been staying in the dorm at all. Not since I moved in with Benjamin on graduation day. I gave this speech as one of the university's outstanding graduates as soon as I stepped off the stage. Santiago knelt before me in front of the entire school with a ring in hand. Aurelia, I was wrong. I only faked amnesia because I was being childish, I was just playing around, but the truth is I've always loved you. I'm sorry for everything, please give me one more chance to make it up to you. I swear this time I'll treat you the way you deserve. I won't mess it up again. Shut the hell up. Rushing from the back, Benjamin stormed over and kicked Santiago's ring right out of his hand. What right do you have to ask for forgiveness? If saying sorry was enough, why would we even need the police? Santiago Aurelio will never forgive you. And for the record, she's mine now, I'm cleaner than you, more loyal than you, richer, hotter. You really think she'd still pick you? Santiago's whole body trembled as he shook his head desperately. No, Aurelio loved me the most, she did. She used to when I competed. She'd stay up all night to help me review when I was sick. She couldn't sleep, worried about me one year during Lunar New Year. My parents went on a business trip and I was alone. Aurelia knew I was upset. She spent 5 hours on a train just to be with me. She loved me so much. How could she let me go? Benjamin gave a cold laugh. You said it yourself, she used to love you. But now you're just dirty. Oh, and by the way, I should probably thank you if you hadn't come up with that genius amnesia scheme. I might have never had the chance to win her heart. Santiago finally realized he'd lost me for good. He collapsed to the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. I took Benjamin's hand and walked away without looking back. Yes, I don't want the filthy man. Never again. Chapter 11. Benjamin took me home, even before I officially graduated. He couldn't wait to introduce me to his parents. Then he pulled me into his bedroom, and there I found little pieces of my past. I thought I'd lost that pink dress I'd misplaced, a forgotten hairpin, a crumpled piece of scratch paper I'd used in the library, even my freshman orientation pass. I looked up at Benjamin in disbelief. He'd secretly loved me for this long. Flushing slightly, he wrapped his arms around me. Actually, I was the one who fell for you first, but I spent my first year abroad in the UK for an exchange program. When I came back, you were already dating Santiago, but now you're finally mine, Aurelia. That's all that matters. I nestled into his chest with a smile. Yeah, it's perfect.